Welcome to today's reading. Today we are working with a little bit of background noise, so thank you for bearing with me in those moments where it does get a little bit challenging. If you do see any jump cuts throughout today's reading, all it will be is me clearing out anything that was too hard to, it's too loud. Anyway, so today's reading will be about what are you not seeing in this situation. So we have three groups to choose from. Group 1 with the Crow Tarot, Group 2 with the Neoteric Feminine Tarot, and Group 3 with the Light Seers Tarot. You're welcome to take a moment to maybe pause the video or feel into what pile you feel the most drawn to. Then you can use the timestamps in the description box to jump ahead to whichever reading you select, and we'll get into the reading. Hoping everybody's doing well today. Okay, welcome Group 1 to your reading for today. If you chose the Crow Tarot, then this is your reading. We're starting off with the Nine of Swords, which I was getting as depression, but in this case it could also be facing oppression, followed by the Queen of Pentacles, and then the Ten of Cups, the Three of Wands. We have the Five of Swords in reverse. Let's move these cards a bit. We have the Six of Swords, the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Two of Swords, and the Seven of Cups. So today's reading is all about what you're not seeing in this situation. So yeah, we're starting off in an energy of maybe feeling some sort of depression or oppression or stress or maybe entrapment or something like that. I just feel like whatever it is, it feels all consuming. And at this point, I guess I'm getting a sense of you're the only person that can free you from this, but it's not to say that it's, you put yourself in this position in the first place. Some things just happen. Sometimes things just happen in life, okay? Moving forward, what it's going to take for you to pull yourself out of this is to really step into this Queen of Pentacles energy where you need, I'm getting a sense of like you'll need to be really forthright. You'll need to be really steady and stable. So taking care of the daily practices that are like routine, doing the things that need to be done, like sorting out responsibilities and chores and paying bills and like working, just doing all the things that need to be done at the ground level, and having discipline and punctuality and being reliable and a little like you're trying to build a steady foundation here. It's not going to be all the things I said for every person. For some of you, it could just be this essence of going slow and steady and doing the small things every day that count towards the bigger picture, okay? Ultimately, I feel like this is the key here to everything. Okay, if you're able to stay grounded as well during this time would be fantastic. Quite a few of the things that we've got set up today are quite grounding, like we've got the bone, we've got wood, and we've got hematite and tourmaline, as well as the black candle. So all quite grounding elements here. I do get a specific feel for some of you that if you're able to work with wood or go sit with trees or be in nature, or if you've got wooden furniture or something like that, that you can spend a bit of time in and around, like accents throughout the home, because it's all of it is grounding. That would be really great. You don't have to go buy anything. You can just literally walk outside and put your hands on a tree, or spend time out in a nature setting. I do feel like you being in your power and having your stuff together or having your stuff sorted is going to help set the path for, I guess, the rest of your life at this point. So it'll be really you working out where you're going to go from here. For some of you, it could be a financial or a work, like a skills-based situation concerning money. And I guess that definitely can tie in here as well. It just doesn't seem to be the exact theme of the message. All right, so moving on. So we have the Three of Wands. I feel like whatever it is, it's going to take a bit of courage to step into something that you haven't before. So maybe you're trying something new, and even if it's not new, it might just be that at this point in time, your pathway is calling you to have more courage or more humility than you've had before. Sometimes I do quite often get an energy of having to dig deeper than you ever thought you could in some of the group readings on this channel, and that actually seems like you're well equipped by now, like you understand this by now and you've experienced it so much. And I do think that where that comes from is, you know, whatever those situations that you've been put in that have caused you to have to dig deeper are the same things that have left you in this energy of starting out with this feeling depressed and or oppressed or stressed or stuck in some sort of situation. I don't even know if I'd say it's feeling stuck. It's just that whatever has happened has been terrible, or I don't know, maybe for some of you this goes from one extreme to the other on the scale, like it's a gradient in which everyone experiences these things. For some of you it'll be tragedy, for some of you it may have been a blue couple of like weeks, I guess you could say. Anyway, so moving on. So there's something here that's going to take some courage that you haven't quite made the leap with yet. And whatever this is, I feel like when you're actually able to take this leap, you'll be freeing yourself of a lot of headaches and burdens. You'll be freeing yourself of a lot of that like negative energy or ruminating thoughts or yeah. So I guess the main thing is we've got to look at like how you can take this leap, how mustering up the courage to do whatever this is. All I can tell you is that if you're already at a point where you're looking at sort of crossing the shores on whatever this thing is, then there's probably not much else that you could actually do. I'm just seeing whatever this is that you are needing to take, are needing the courage to take this leap. If it's already in your sights, I feel it'll be something that you'll regret if you actually don't do. And I'm getting a specific message to follow your guiding light or star, or following your north node or your true north path, or north, what is it? Following your path. Following your true north star. There's like quite a few different ways that they're trying to get me to actually say it, but whatever it is, it's like following your true north home is, yeah. And so when you're able to do that, it will help inevitably clear up a lot of these headaches and stress and things that you've been dealing with. But I did actually get called to mention too that for some of you, when you're able to pull yourself out of whatever this mess is in your power, it'll actually open you up to attracting and bringing in a new mate. Maybe they could already be in the picture, right? But maybe it's you're not quite there yet. Maybe it's like very early days, or maybe you're in each other's sights, but there's nothing necessarily going on. Or yeah, I'm not really sure. That'll look a little bit differently for everyone, but it's like once you actually step into your power, then you open up the space to have something actually happen here, something real and something wonderful. And that I do feel like this person would be incredibly supportive, and that in essence, that in itself can be one of the things that helps prop you up into a position where you actually feel that you have the courage to be able to take whatever this leap is here, or a leap towards whatever it is that you're actually trying to do, because of how encouraging this person is. This person's so encouraging. It seems really wonderful. Like the cups are filled here. Like it's emotionally supportive. I feel like it's quite easy breezy, or like, I don't know, this, why they give me things that rhyme? I was hearing like easy breezy, light and easy. Okay, so it's maybe like a lighter kind of love, where they are really fulfilling and they do have your back and it is really steady. But they're also just fulfilling in a lot of ways. Like I sort of get the essence of when I'm like, you know, delving into this energy a little bit, like they're funny, but they're caring, and they're a little bit sensitive, but they're emotionally vulnerable and expressive, and like you guys are sharing each other's inner world and all that sort of thing. Okay, so they want me to talk about it more so that you recognize it when it happens, and I'm hoping that I can do it justice. But so, you know, a person that's honest, and like we said, like they're open to being vulnerable and sharing their inner worlds and expressing themselves, is one thing. But I feel like they're going to be funny and keep things lighthearted in general. This person may even try to make you or other people feel better when the chips are down and when things aren't really going well. I think that they're a solid enough, what are they? They're like, this person is like a rock. Where they're like a solid foundation and an emotionally supportive person. And they seem to be the person that helps hold everything together. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. So coming back to the Three of Wands here, it's like they give you the foundation to be able to take this leap towards things that you haven't actually done before. And that's that sense of like following your true North Star home. For some of you, there will be that message of stepping into your North Node, which I actually don't know enough about the North Node and South Node yet, but as far as I understand, the North Node is essentially something that we haven't done and we need to work on, and it will bring us like great, I don't know if I want to say great joy or fulfillment or luck or something like that. There's something to it where it actually ends up being quite fulfilling or good for us if we can follow our North Star. So if any of you have already been on that track, I would say that this is confirmation for you. For others, it might just be that sense of like following your own compass, or something that really means the world to you. Yeah. Okay. Maybe initially there will be a few headaches and whatnot, but I do feel like as long as you're able to take that initial step, it'll all calm down pretty quickly after you actually take the step. So like, you know, generally when we do something we haven't done before, there can be like choppy waters or teething issues at the start, and it doesn't take long to sort of work it out before we're on our way anyway. And I think that whatever this is, you're more than capable. Essentially, whatever this is gives you the freedom, or the freedom to make a fresh start somewhere. For some of you, this may be like a fresh start in your pre-existing environment, and for some of you, it will be going somewhere new, somewhere totally different. But I do feel like whatever it is, there's like good things on the horizon, even if you feel like you've lost a few feathers throughout this process. Okay, this is really bizarre, because this reading is supposed to be like what you don't see happening in this situation, or what you don't see coming, or something like that, right? But I'm actually being pointed out that this top row is you, and that this bottom row is your person. So I'll amend the title if it ends up being the same for all three groups. Otherwise, this is looking like it's turning into some sort of like relationship reading, or maybe not relationship as per se, because like I said, you doesn't seem that you actually are in one yet, but some sort of like romantic interest reading, I guess. So it's like at the same time as you're coming out of this depressive, oppressive, stressful place and stepping into your power, it looks like that's when you'll meet your person. For your person, it's like something has happened where they've left their past behind, or they're making a fresh start in life, and they're really optimistic and hopeful for this new future that they're actually setting out on and creating for themselves. And I think that they have a renewed sense of I want to say optimism again, but like beauty for the world, and like, yeah, I'm just getting like hope and renewal, and yeah, lots of hope here. Hope and optimism are definitely the two key things coming out. And yeah, it's that same thing where this person has lost a few feathers along the way, so maybe their journey wasn't particularly easy, or whatever it was that they have left behind wasn't easy, but they're giving it a go anyway, and they're getting out there and putting themselves out there and just doing what they can with what they have, and I think they're going to do really well. But moving on, this person, I think, has ultimately done a lot of work on themselves. I just want to point out, because this is splitting into two different rows of people, this energy, like, it doesn't matter which row, you could end up being either one. For the way that I've read it so far is that you're this first row and your person's the second row, but there will be like I think maybe a small percentage of you where this is like the other way around, just trying to account for the amount of people in the group that will actually see this reading at some point in time. So back to it. So maybe we'll refer to it as like person A. No, we're just going to stick with you and your person, and you can flip the energies at this point in time, because I don't want to muddle it too much, right? We don't want to make it too confusing. Okay, so yeah, your person makes a fresh start. I feel like they do a lot of work on themselves, like a lot of soul searching, deep inner work, maybe shadow work, maybe they do therapy. I don't know if it goes that far, but whatever it is, they work on themselves. They're inevitably quite happy with where they're at for the work that they've done. It is fulfilling work. I think they know themselves a lot better than what they actually ever did before. So it sets them up to be in this energy where not only do they know what they've been through, and they're ready to be compassionate and supportive to a person that's also experienced hardship, because they well and truly understand it from what they've experienced. But they're much more open to seeing another person at a much deeper level, because they know themselves at a much deeper level. So they've got that level of insight. It's almost in essence a level of maturity here that this person has, that maybe they, I don't know, I guess as we get older we always mature, right? But it's like a dramatic difference or level of growth here that this person has had, and they're actually, yeah, I don't know, I just feel like this person's just really lovely and really supportive. And they'll probably be really good for you and probably what you need. And moving forward, so maybe at times, or when you guys do start to come a bit closer to each other or spend more time together, they may get a little bit frightened, or like I don't think that this person was ready for how much they're going to like you, or what you're actually going to bring to the table. I don't think they've ever experienced anything like it. Unfortunate for their past selves, but good for them for their future selves, because I feel like you two together are kind of like the kindest, most compassionate that either of you have ever been and ever received or experienced. So it's like this person might not know what to do with this, because they've never been on the receiving end of that much love or that much support or fulfillment, okay? So it might freak them out a little bit. I feel like they might get a little bit flighty where they're scared, but I don't feel like they're going to go do silly things out of this scared behavior. I feel like they're just the kind of person that they might take a little bit of space and they might just retreat or pull away just a little bit, just to sort of be in their own space and head and just have a little bit of time to process things and sort of ground themselves and get an idea of where they're at before they sort of come back. But I feel that at no point will this person ever abandon you or whatever this is that's coming in. I feel like this person's always going to have you at the forefront of their mind and heart and focus. If anything, it's really just going to be a case of they're learning to go steady, and there's in essence this feeling of, what is it? It's like they have always been really steadfast. What is the difference here? Maybe they're in an essence learning to stay grounded and emotionally regulated or rehabilitated throughout this process, because I do think that they did really well doing that for themselves on their own. And then when they finally enter into some sort of new scenario here, that it's like they're learning to do it at a different level than what they had previously done before. I'm not sure if like some of you are following the cards here, but I'm being called to mention that this is not a second offer. It is just one person, okay? And I feel like ultimately, no matter whatever happens here, they'll always do what they can to provide for you in that like emotional, supportive sense, okay? So that seems really lovely. What is this? Yeah, I do feel like when this person steps into that energy of being a little bit more flighty at different times where they get a little bit scared about having this very real connection, that they will feel a little bit like damned if they do and damned if they don't, because there's no way they could pass up on it. But at the same time, I don't know if they are really ready for it as much as they thought that they were. And that could cause this person to really like think about what it is that they actually want out of life and go from there. I do feel called to tell you that when we talk about this person reevaluating what they want out of life and feeling damned if they do and they don't, I don't think that this at any point means, like I said, and we just need that level of reassurance. This person isn't looking to get rid of you or step out or bail in any way here just because they've gotten scared. This person is actually, it's just like the thoughts and feelings of the roller coaster, and maybe they know that like you're the indefinite one cup or one thing that they want in their lives, and in a sense they see you following your path, and it actually causes them to really reevaluate their own situation here. So for some of them it may be like a case of they're really established in whatever their career is and they do get paid well for it, but they see you chasing your passion and they think, well, I would love to do that, but it's a huge financial or insecure risk for me to be able to do that. But then if I stay here, it's like soul sucking the life out of me if I don't ever make a change. And so at some point that can be the crossroads that they're actually faced with as well. It doesn't necessarily just have to be the relationship, although I feel like for this person, they're definitely, like I said, they're reevaluating quite a few things in life. And it'll be interesting to see where they wind up at, but I feel like they'll never not be by your side. If anything, you'll probably just witness them rolling through the motions of everything. I feel like this person's going to be really good at you guys together, but this person particularly will be really good at like doing the things that that they want, that's good for them, but also what you guys would want and what is good for you as a couple. So they're going to be able to differentiate here. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. You guys aren't necessarily going to meld into one person. You're going to do a couple thing really well, but still remain individual people and still do the things that you enjoy in life, and the things that, like, I don't know, keep you fulfilled on your own. You don't need to become one person. You can be two individual people in a union. I do feel ultimately this person is really grounding for you, even if they're not particularly grounded themselves. Okay, so that's everything that I'm getting for the moment for the tarot. So I do actually want to take a couple cards from the Light Seers tarot and just see, oh, not that many, if we can get anything else to add to this here. So I do wonder if this person is a person that you like, or yeah, it's like, I'm not sure if this person is what you don't see like happening or coming, or if it's this situation unfolding is what you don't see. Because this is bizarre. It was definitely not intended to be any sort of relationship reading. And just, I know that I was expressing that there's a really good chance it'll be like a romantic situation. It doesn't have to be. There sometimes we do have like deep relationships that are quite fulfilling that don't have any real romantic nature at all. Just, I would really take what fits for your situation. Don't make anything fit that doesn't apply here. Yeah, there's very much a sense here of you both starting out from a place of some sort of heartbreak, and on your way you're like finding that balance. But the balance is that I'm referring to is kind of between, I guess, yourself and another really fulfilling venture. I'm trying to think of how I can best explain this that actually makes sense. And something else. Okay, I'm definitely getting an essence here of it being like a balance between earth and ether, and spirituality and the 3D reality that we live in. And for some of you it may be a balance between ego and ethereal essence, where you understand in a higher state of consciousness that you are just these light beings having a human experience, and then the other side of it is that knowing that you're an empowered person on this earth, and that you can take responsibility. And yes, this is a really bizarre energy. For some of you, this will be a case of like learning to look after yourselves in a physical manner, because sometimes when we're a little bit, I don't know what the word is, deep into any sort of consciousness or spirituality or anything like that, we can really forget about our physical well-being. And yeah, I do feel like for some of you this will be, it's like becoming integrated and learning to balance out your physical with everything else that you already experience. Yeah, maybe it's just like a healthy, happy balance in a relationship as well. I actually want to read from the book on this one, because I feel like there's something that I'm not getting, and it's just not really coming through for me at this point. What do we want? Temperance. So we have alchemy, blending energies, harmony, moderation, masculine and feminine balance, duality and amalgamation, the fluidity of time, meditation, the perpetual motion of life, neutrality, restraint, patience, and purpose. Clashing interests, oil and water, extremes, disharmony, a need to practice moderation in some aspect of your life, severity, polarity, and impatience. And the message is, I walk the middle path and I nourish my spiritual wholeness. So yeah, definitely a few different like dual messages coming through there, where I do feel like part of it is like this, you know, for some of you, the spiritual earth thing, and then for others of you, it's like this relationship. And so I wonder if you're actually both quite really giving people, and that in previous relationships before, you've both probably given too much of yourselves, and maybe that's, you know, an underlying part of how this relationship is so lovely, is because you do both give so much. And maybe what you do here, both of you, in a safe, supportive environment, where you know that you're trusted and respected, and you guys actually genuinely have each other's best interests at heart, is you're actually allowing yourselves to not necessarily overgive or overextend anymore. Like, you're both learning how much is enough without overgiving, if that makes sense. You're learning to balance the relationship and your own needs, okay? Yeah. All right. And then in essence, when you're able to do that, you can turn this into something like truly, I just keep getting like ethereal. But it's like, whatever this is, it's like the dream come true, the best of the best, ultimately fulfilling, maybe just a very deeply like spiritual connection here. I do wonder if for some of you there's more to this. I don't really ever do too much in like looking into like twin flames or the past life stuff so much through these readings, but I wonder if there's definitely some sort of like higher level of purpose here in this relationship, or you two coming together in the union. I am being drawn back to the Six of Swords here, being like your person's fresh start. What is it? Yeah, I do get an essence of they are almost burnt out, or they burn out really easily, something like that. And so that'll be one of those things that they're learning to balance within the connection. Yeah. Okay, so that's enough now. So we've got everything for the tarot. We'll grab, what do we want? We're going to use the Soul Mirror cards. See if we can get some extra messages here. But overall, this actually sounds really lovely, and I think you guys will do really well together, and you're actually, I feel like you have a really good general mental and emotional connection here. I feel like you're both quite emotionally intelligent people, and that you actually see each other. So that's something that I didn't point out before. It's like, you know, sometimes we can have relationships where we don't feel seen or heard, or we don't feel like it's an authentic, genuine connection, or we're scared to be ourselves or something like that. I feel like you and this person, you just, you see each other, you understand each other, you get each other. Like, there's so much to it here. It's really lovely. Yeah. Maybe for some of you, your person can feel a little bit blindsided that this comes in quicker than what they anticipated, or just that whole thing of they weren't really looking for it, or maybe they were, whether they were or weren't, maybe they didn't expect it to be as profound of a connection as what it's actually turned out to be. But outside of that, it's actually really good. So we have stifled communication. I actually don't even feel like it's stifled. We'll come back to it. Okay. And lost or found comfort. Okay, for a lot of you, I feel like communication is a really big part in this union of some kind or relationship going forward, where maybe you're actually learning to communicate all over again in a new healthy way together, but also the fact that you actually do communicate really well. Maybe the communication is going to be key here to how and why this all plays out in such a lovely way, because you guys actually do communicate, and you are open, honest, and vulnerable, and you do share. Yeah. I feel like for some of you, it may be the most communicative relationship that you've probably ever had. where it's really nurturing. Yeah. I'm hearing like lots of feminine embodiment here as well. So I think it's just that style of communication, or the fact that it's communication at all. I do feel like for some of you, you're actually able to freely and openly talk about a lot of things that you haven't been able to in previous relationships as well. Where there's an essence here of it being really like healing and nurturing. Yeah. Okay, and then you both having found this, what is it, like a newfound comfort that I don't know if I want to say you guys thought you would never get back, or if it's a case that you've just never experienced it. Yeah. Okay, anything else here? I'm just going to take a Zodiac card as well. Alright, well, a few. We're not taking that many. Let's see if we can get just one. Okay, so we had Sagittarius jump out. This will probably be confirmation for some of you if your person is a Sagittarius or a fire sign of some kind, maybe even like a mutable sign. And if nothing else, it could be I think, I might have to look it up. I actually wonder, where's the book on Temperance? I don't know if Temperance is, Sag, oh no, maybe not. That's okay. There's, whether it's the case or not, there's something between the Sagittarius card and the Temperance card that's relative to each other. It's like this person has a really good blend. File, yeah, okay. This person might have polarizing characteristics or opposing characteristics that actually blend really well together and are really integrated. Like I get the sense for a lot of you, this person's like, maybe it's the case that they are quite intellectual but quite emotional as well. But when I say intellectual and emotional, I don't necessarily mean in excess. It's just that they're maybe like intelligent in both ways. Yeah. Okay, so with the Sagittarius card, I do get the feeling that your person could be, that you could perceive your person as being like quite literally unreal, where it's hard for you to fathom their existence on this earth because you've never met anyone like them. And I do feel like they're actually a really beautiful person, and it sort of makes sense with this little bit of like flightiness at different times when they're not sure of things, but in general they're still really solid and really grounded. It's just more one of those things that you'll witness playing out over time, but at the end of the day they're actually there for you 100%. But like a lot of fire, a lot of passion. Feel like this person lights you up in a lot of ways. I think this person would also be extremely creative. I'm hearing they are the embodiment of creative expression. And they have some sort of, I feel like they have a lot of heart. Like there's some sort of intense, I don't know, I'm getting a few different words and I'm not really, being able to grasp any one of them. I feel like this person would be really determined, like they know what they want and that's what they're going after. And they've got like a lot of drive to actually get there and do that. And I do feel like for both of you, you are the star in each other's lives. Cool. All right. I definitely get a sense of, for each of you, that you're like the apple of each other's eyes. Okay. I do actually wonder for some of you if this is like your it person. This is your person for life, for eternity. This, yeah, okay. I was just sort of questioning whether it necessarily is a case of this is your it person, or eternal person, or person for life, because I know that a lot of people watch these videos and they're telling me that it definitely is, whether you want to hear it or not. So at this point, if this reading doesn't resonate for you, it might be a good time to click off, just so you don't spend any more time here, because if it doesn't resonate, then there's a good chance that you may be in a different pile, like your reading may be in a different group. Although this is also meant to be like what you don't see coming as well, right? So there's a potential here that you don't even know that this exists yet. I'm just hearing like they light up your being, they light up your life. Like this is really lovely. I can feel like my heart center opening while we're talking about this as well. I think that you and this person have some crazy feelings for each other. Like it's intense, and I think that makes sense with the Saggy vibes as well, right? Like a really intense love, or relationship in like really positive ways. Okay. I'm just getting something about you couldn't or you wouldn't dream for a love like this. So it's something about it's like unimaginative, or it's surreal, where you just didn't think that this was possible. Yeah. Okay. All right, so do we want to take any other cards? We're going to take a paper message. We're going to, let's just give it a bit of a mix up. Oh, we had one fall out. We'll take that. There we go. Okay, the message that we've got is, this is the only peace I've ever found. That's lovely. I think, yeah, this person, this relationship must be like a really peaceful, loving union of some kind. For some of you, I feel like you may be getting a cat, and this again is not for everyone. I just want to take like one card from the everyday. Oh, we've had two jump out. Cool. Take cards from this Everyday Witch Tarot. So I'm being pointed out towards the cat in this comfort card, but also the Everyday Witch Tarot. We've got Temperance. So we've got Temperance a second time, okay? And the Three of Cups. But in both of those cards, we've got cats around. So maybe for some of you, you've recently got one. Maybe for some of you, that's something in your sights at a time in life when you're able to, when you're in a position to be able to get some sort. It might not specifically be a cat. I feel like for most of you, this message is relevant for, it is a cat. For others of you, it might just be like some sort of, you know, animal friend or pet. Definitely some sort of pet. I really feel drawn to the black cats in, maybe, no, yeah, the black cats. Okay. But I do feel like this animal, if you end up having an animal come in, if that's something that you're there for, like obviously some of you will already have animals, okay, and it'll just be highlighting like the importance of the relationship with your animals, because it's like your animal helps keep you balanced, and like fulfilled as well. It's that sense of like support and community that sort of inadvertently, subconsciously comes in from having these little animals around us. But it's also like that love, I don't know, there's, yeah, a whole nother level of love for animals, right? Okay, so that's everything that I have for today's reading for you all, group 1. I hope that this resonated and was helpful, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks, bye. Oh, man. Okay, welcome group 2. If you chose the Neoteric Feminine Tarot, then this is your reading for today, about what it is that you don't see in the situation. So we're starting out from a place of some sort of relationship that we're looking at, and if it's not a relationship, it's something that provides ultimate fulfillment to you. For some of you, it may not be that relationship in essence. It may actually be like some sort of spiritual, intuitive connection or something like that, okay? I do feel like it involves another person. It's not, doesn't have to be necessary to still fit though. Now, whatever this is, I feel like it sparks so much inspiration and so much passion, and what else is here? Like growth, like deep-seated growth. I wonder if you are like the intuitive group out of the 3 piles that we have here today. Like whatever this connection is that you have, it's sparking you to do like some really big level of inspiration or growth here that I think you may underestimate whatever this is, or the potential that it actually has, okay? Or maybe it's because it is at the very start that you don't have the possible insight on what it could turn out to be. And there's definitely some level here of like alchemy or transmutation happening in this situation to actually get you to a place where maybe you have the insight of a higher level of consciousness or a different view on the world to what you previously did have, or maybe a lot of people around you. And it can be a little bit tricky trying to navigate that sometimes, being a person that's seeing things quite differently to others. Ultimately, I do get a sense too of you could be feeling like enlightened, through this stage. It's like doing all this work on yourself and following these, maybe there's like a little, whatever this like thing is, that spark of inspiration, it's like you follow it and you're doing a lot of work on yourself, and it ends up leading to a place where you're actually really lit up inside, but like you've gained a lot of deep insight into yourself. And I want to say psyche as well, like your own psyche. At the end of the day, you know, if you're working through, oh no, there's something else here. What do we got? They're just highlighting that perspective is everything. And if you don't have the perspective for whatever the situation is, that you'll fail. And maybe this is just a point in time where you end up needing to actually take a bit of quiet time, or quiet reflective time to sort of think back on things and work out where it is that you actually want to go. And maybe this is like time for you to work on yourself as well. Even if it's something that's been a bit of a theme for you, it may be a time where, there's something about like deep, quiet inner reflection. Okay, so we'll leave it at that and move on. And in essence, no matter how you show up in the world in all your glory, it's like the only person that can ever judge you is the universe, right? Like the people like to think that we all like to think that we know a lot more than we do, or that it's the be all end all. But at the end of the day, the human mind, even in the states of higher consciousness, doesn't necessarily always understand what actually is the bigger picture, okay? If you have had people that have tried to subject you to whatever their own personal beliefs and judgments are, then I'd say that this is where you actually are going to cut away those people or a lot of those beliefs. Whether this is, it could be like about yourself, it could be just in general in the world, in how people show up and operate, and that you might be like cutting the cord here or severing any ties and getting out of there. That's it. It's like, I don't even know if it's like whoever you're cutting ties with here, just they weren't good people anyway. Maybe you've only decided to cut ties with them on the chance that, or on the fact that they maybe weren't very respectful or were a little bit judgmental, but ultimately there's a lot more to it here that you probably haven't seen play out as well. And I don't think you should feel bad. And this is a time where it would be actually quite beneficial for you to remain a little bit more cold, detached and logical about your situation, because the emotions aren't going to serve you here for things that you can't see and that haven't happened yet, okay? So this is everything that I need for the tarot for this point. I do want to point out that one of the stones that I've grabbed for today's reading is the tourmaline, and I do feel like it would be fantastic for you to actually protect your energy during this time. I do feel for some of you that whatever you're doing, you're actually doing really well in it, like better than you thought you were, and that it is going to take off, and other people can see that it is, and that you are quite good at it, and that might actually be some sort of cause here for other people's negative thoughts. It's kind of like evil eye energy that you need to protect yourself from. So maybe you can keep tourmaline on you, do a meditation with tourmaline. If you have an evil eye, decorative piece, maybe you can take that or keep that with you. Make sure if you're using like the crystals, keep them cleansed regularly so that they continue to do their job really well. And that should be helpful during this time. I am hearing something about these people move in the shadows. So I definitely don't think that you'll actually realize how deep this all goes, okay? I don't think you'll realize the depth of what's going on there, and you just haven't actually seen it yet. You haven't been privy to it. And it's not that you're a person that necessarily misses much. It's just that it's not been possible for you to see because of the way it's played out. So next we're going to take one of our paper messages. Let's see. message that we have is my world is a safe haven when I'm home. So maybe that's a really good message for you, that whenever you're doubting yourself or you're unsure of the people around you, that you can actually retreat home and spend a bit of time on your own in that quiet reflective energy where you can tell the difference between yours and others' energy, and you're on your own enough that you can actually process or think about things. You can reflect properly. All right, so next we want to take a Zodiac card and we'll see if we can get some sort of extra intel here. Yeah, so the thing that you don't see at the moment is maybe like a bit of your journey, like how powerful you are and it is, and I think it'll be really quite fulfilling in a lot of wonderful ways. And when I say fulfilling, it's not the sense of necessarily emotionally fulfilling, but I think that it's one of those things that lights up your life. But then also the other sense too of there are some people around that you end up, I guess it becomes a case where you start to do well and you start to see people's true colors come out and you weed them out, and then you're moving away from them, however that looks. All right, so we've had the water element. Yeah, this is like definitely feeling like deep, intuitive, psychic. Maybe it would be good for you to work with water at this point in time. It could actually be a really good cleansing practice for you to do, which makes sense, right? Because if we're copying evil eye and some other stuff from people, if they're a little bit jealous or something like that, cleansing ourselves and then protecting ourselves is going to be really beneficial and probably necessary at this time. I do feel like you actually are quite intuitive as it is. And so I do wonder if you've maybe had nudges or received some sort of hint on this before, or, you know, maybe not even received anything. Maybe you just had a feeling about this situation, but you hadn't seen anything actually play out. Nothing had ever happened involving you. So you just thought, well, just because I feel that way doesn't mean it's necessarily the truth. Maybe you've underestimated your own intuition, and this is a time that would be really good for you to actually pay attention to it. And I am getting something about the 6th house here as well. I'm going to grab the book and read on it though, because it's not something, I don't know if it's going to be like relationship, spirituality, and like the physical earth. Not the physical earth, the physical life, but I don't know the houses very well, so we're just going to read from the book and see if we get anything relevant here, and make sense of it. What are we looking for? Okay, they want me to read the element page first. So we've got flowing, cleansing, and healing. The energy of water refreshes and moves gently. Spiritual renewal, forgiveness, the need to connect, to understand and be understood. Intimacy and creative expression ride the current of water. It can wash away the detritus of life, making everything feel fresh and new. Bring the quality of water to a situation by opening your heart, speaking the truth with kindness and compassion, encouraging connections, expressing forgiveness, and healing wherever and whatever you can. So there could be that element too of the water really helping in a healing way with whatever this situation is for you. Now back to the houses, let's see. Okay, so we're saying the 6th house. So it's your job responsibilities, work habits, and relationship and health. Okay, so not the spirituality side, but that like, it may be its own message on its own, but this is very much like our earthly lives, which is okay. So I think these people may be in like a workplace, or there's something to do. They're like, it's like these people show up in a compulsory, not a compulsory part of your life, but like some sort of responsibility that you have. So even if it's not work, maybe, I don't know, there's someone else that you interact with that like you otherwise wouldn't. Okay, we'll leave it at that. And it's just part of your day that you see them somewhere along the lines, right? Maybe a big chunk of your day for some of you, okay? We're also going to take Goddess and Siren card. Let's see. That's too many. Right. There we go. Okay, so we've had the card commitment pop out. I feel like this is making a commitment to yourself to actually prioritize some quiet time so that you can feel into things more than what you have. We're also going to take an archetype card as well. So we've had two pop out. So we have the wounded child with awakens compassion and desire to serve other children, opens learning path and forgiveness. We also have the judge card with balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. Yeah, I feel like this is you just being quite a good judge of this situation, regardless of if you have an understanding of the total picture here, and the fact that in the ways that you've been wounded in your life and in your past, you actually show up to be able to help others that have gone through this similar situation. Okay, so that's everything that I actually have for you today, Group 2. I hope that this resonated and was helpful, and I'll see you in another video. Welcome Group 3 to today's reading. Today's reading is all about what you don't see happening. So today we're using the Light Seers Tarot. We have the King of Swords, the Seven of Swords, the Page of Cups, the Queen of Swords in reverse, and the Nine of Cups. I'm just going to take a moment to see if I get any messages come through before we jump straight into the cards. I'm just hearing he's trying to be diplomatic, but everything he does is underhanded. So apply gender where it fits. It doesn't necessarily need to be a he, although I feel like that would resonate for a lot of you. So I feel like this King of Swords person is the person that they're referring to, and he actually started out, or they started out, in quite a fair, just place where they were quite wise and intelligent, and maybe even a little bit like worn down from life, but smart enough and wise enough to know that there's like more to it and to not give up. And I feel like they started out in their element of being their true authentic person, or them as themselves. I do feel like there is quite a lot of like throat chakra stuff here. So I do feel like in this particular element, they were really embodying their authentic selves more than they probably ever had. And they were better at expressing it than they have before as well. I do get a sense for some of you that this person is actually older as well. And that maybe this person had, if not multiple, at least one person hanging around that wasn't a great person. And I can't tell, I think it was just a case that they weren't a good influence, okay? So it was like your person was trying their best. They had someone around that wasn't a good influence, and your person was, maybe your person had seen like a lot of trying times, and it's somehow like they were trying to do their best, and there was this person hanging around that was trying to influence them in negative ways. I guess I feel like this person that was trying to influence your person in negative ways, it feels a little bit manipulative. It feels like they're looking for a window of opportunity at when they can get this person to join in on things that they maybe normally wouldn't, because they have other responsibilities and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know if they necessarily like got tricked into doing anything bad. I don't think it's like that. I think that your person would be able to tell the difference between like what they would normally do themselves. But I do feel like the person trying to influence them will definitely try to leverage when your person's emotions are heightened, or try to give them a perspective that works in their favor, where it's like a hidden agenda of why there's a reason why they're showing them that perspective rather than just trying to be helpful. But it definitely all comes off in a sense of like some sort of like brotherhood or camaraderie or a long-term friendship or something there. I do feel like the person trying to influence your person does really care for your person, but instead of trusting that their relationship is strong enough to keep them in each other's lives, it's like they try to influence the situation so that they get to spend more time together, like just naturally, even if it means encouraging their person to come away from, you know, following up on responsibilities and whatnot, to be able to do that. Yeah. I do feel like your person was kind of aware of the fact that this would happen sometimes, but a lot of the times it would be, like I said, when things are emotionally heightened. So they, I guess, would use logic and whatnot to justify their friend's true intentions, or not their true intentions, but they'd use the logic to justify the things that their friend would say because they want to believe their intentions are good, if that makes sense. And so I think what would happen is that sometimes your person would be, I don't want to say deceptive, but like a little bit sneaky, with how they went about things. And I don't even feel like your person really did anything outright wrong. It was literally just a fact of like, maybe there were half truths, or maybe they would sort of go along with something, and before they realized it was last minute already sort of happening, and then they sort of felt like they just had to go along with it by that point anyway. Or they had a fear of maybe looking like they weren't, I don't know, for the lack of a better expression, like one of the boys or something like that. So again, it doesn't have to be that gender based, that gender specific, but I think for a lot of you it will be. The thing is that your person was actually quite wise and quite good on their own, and it would just be when they maybe would be feeling lonely or at a loss or struggling with things, and they want that, like, maybe that, I think they like wanted that emotional support at that time because for whatever reason they didn't already have it. Maybe there's not a lot of family around or something like that, and this person that was like trusted, that was a good friend, would sort of come in with this influence, and your person would sort of fall for it more. I think they would sometimes believe that they were really in control and understood everything that was going on, but I think that they would actually fall for it more than what they realize and more than what they give this friend credit for. At the end of the day, I do feel like they are still friends, and that your person still thinks quite highly of them, even if it is a little bit unfounded or ungrounded in their approach because they've just been friends for so long. It's like, maybe because there's a history doesn't mean that we necessarily understand that the connection has a level of immaturity within it, and maybe it can also be an outward expression of our own level of immaturity. So maybe your person here, although quite wise and adept at different things in life, does have a level of an emotional immaturity in which I guess inhibits their ability to be able to see the situation clearly, because they're attached to this outcome of wanting to believe that this person that's close to them truly has their best intentions at heart. And maybe this person genuinely does really love them and does have good intentions for them, but they're not, what's the word? They're still not afraid to every now and then slightly manipulate a situation to suit them better. If it means keeping their friend out longer, or if it means getting their friend to come out to more events than what they could normally commit to given their responsibilities. There's something like that. Yeah. But I do feel like there's definitely a level of love that they have for each other, where I think the friendship between them, they just admire each other a lot. So there's a whole level there of like not wanting to let down a friend and not wanting to, just not let them down, I guess, despite the fact that they know that they are good on their own. Yeah. Maybe your person knows that whatever this relationship was that they had, or friendship that they had, maybe they know that it's sort of, I don't know how to say, like, I don't want to say that it's done, but maybe they realize that they had outgrown the friendship in certain ways, but they get so nostalgic or sentimental about it that they didn't want to let it go. Which is hard, right? Because if we love a person, even if we know that they're not particularly good for us, it's always going to be hard to let go of a person that we do love or have had in our lives for a long time, despite that, right? Because maybe it's that case of like, they're sort of, maybe this person's always there, and maybe they just never do anything really bad enough to like sort of tip the favor of the friendship too far on one end. So for a lot of the part, there is actually like a lot of good give and take and receiving and everything. It's just that I feel like the scales are slightly altered towards this person's favor. And it's not, I don't even feel like this person that tries to influence your person would necessarily do anything to actually hurt your person. It's more a case of just like, how can I best alter this situation so that not only is it like already a win-win for everyone, but it's like it benefits me. Like, I guess it's kind of like a justified thing where they're trying to say, well, if we both want to go out tonight, we can both go out between the hours of 4 and 6 to when we arrive. And my friend's saying, well, I probably can't really get there till 6 o'clock because I've got, some stuff that I have to do at home first. But their person that tries to influence them might be like, well, it's going to be really fun, or we'll probably have to leave a little bit earlier because we've got this and this going on. Really, it just suits them to have their friend come out a little bit earlier because they would like to go out earlier. But it's kind of got this undertone here of they don't actually ever have to go home earlier. They're just trying to get your person out earlier. And then at the time, it looks like it was all of a win that they stayed out longer than they did. And I know that this is stuff that's like can be tricky to nail down because this is like really innocent, genuine things that actually play out in life quite a lot. And that if you didn't know any better, or if you give people the benefit of the doubt, which we probably all should be able to, right? Then I would never blink an eye at this sort of stuff because things happen, and sometimes that's what you need to do to be able to make it work. But the person trying to influence your person is definitely just doing things to suit themselves or to their own accord, I guess. I do think that your person maybe doesn't really feel so good about themselves, and maybe this is something that particular friend has done for them, is prop them up a little bit where they do feel a little bit better within themselves, even if the person has not particularly said anything to boost their ego. Maybe just having them around has given them a feeling of safety, comfort and support, or clarity that they didn't really get when they were younger. Maybe this person's actually been there with them through a lot of hard times. So you can see how if they're such a trusted, close person or a long-term person in their lives, they probably would miss a lot of this stuff simply for the fact that they don't, because, I don't know, I guess because they have been such a good person in their lives overall, right? Anyway, moving on. So I do feel like one of the things that your person will have to learn is that they need to step into their power and exercise some sort of boundaries here, because quite often, more than not, they end up being led astray a little bit, even if they don't end up in too precarious position. It's just the fact that they know that it's not what they necessarily wanted to do and stick to within themselves. So it's really, and I think this is going to be a thing that's a challenge for your person, because I feel like they set out with the intention and having really good boundaries, and then they don't actually defend their boundaries or maintain them. They just sort of give in to what this other person wants, or become, I guess, in a sense, manipulated by this person. And then they don't follow through on their own, and they end up putting them to the side. And so there's something here where your person will have to exercise previously learnt lessons that maybe they haven't for a while. Maybe they are not used to it. Maybe they just get really caught off guard. I feel like that's probably more to do with the point. It's they get caught off guard, and this person that they've been friends with for a long time, they can sort of tell when they're a little bit caught off guard, or when would be a good time to sort of put them on the spot, so they get that. They're more likely to achieve that favored outcome, if that makes sense. And so I do feel like your person probably needs to open their eyes a little bit more to what it is that's actually playing out. And once they do, it'll be a lot easier for them to place these boundaries and keep everything in check. But they probably, I think your person may have quite a bit going on as well, where they are distracted and they're not necessarily this isn't at the forefront of their mind. So I think while, I do feel like your person's also on a quest to really find themselves as well. And it's weird because the energy that I get for this doesn't feel like they are. the energy I get from this, or I don't know if it's a projection of my own or the judgment or something like that, doesn't say that your person's really soul searching. Maybe it gets to a place of that's where they started out, and then they sort of went through some unsteady stuff where they've listened too much to this influence, or got caught up in their nostalgia and not wanting to let them down, that they realize they have forsaken themselves, and so they do eventually actually come back to trying to connect with themselves on a deeper level than that they had before. And it'll be a little bit harder for them this time round, because I guess it will be a little bit harder for them to trust in general, and they'll probably be a little bit more guarded than what they had been in the past. So it may just take time of exercising caution and discernment for them to find something. So this is really bizarre, right? Because this reading is meant for you, but we're just spending this whole time talking about your person. So I still think it's relevant, or it wouldn't have come up in the cards, or it wouldn't have come up as with like the channeled messages that we're getting. And maybe this is indirectly or inadvertently affecting you more than you think, or maybe there's something in this message of why and how this is happening and playing out with your person that you couldn't see or you couldn't understand, right? Because this message is about something that you don't really see happening. So I guess there's a reason why this is helpful, or should be helpful for you to know. At this point, sometimes I know what can happen is that we can start to watch a reading that may inevitably be talking about another person, but the situation actually really resonates for you yourself, for your own. And so sometimes it can be almost giving us that outside view of our own situation that we didn't previously have. So there's a couple of different ways in which this could be working. If at this point this doesn't sound like it's for you, you may have a reading, like a message that in another pile that actually better suits you. This may not actually be your group, but I thought we'll throw that out there just to save you any time if that is the case. So anyway, moving on with it. I do feel like your person does start to become a bit more grounded than they had been previously, probably more grounded than they had been since this sort of starting off energy, where it was like, you know, it was probably the most grounded they had ever been. It's like they just seemed sort of wise and grounded in life at that point in time. And as things unfold here, it's like someone was able to pull the wool over their eyes, but they were also a little bit too caught up in, you know, the sentimental, nostalgic stuff, or the attachment of the relationship and the outcome more than anything. So I'm just getting a message that it would be like your person needs to spend less time thinking about this stuff and more time grounding themselves so that they can have clarity throughout. And at least this way, when this does play out, they'll be able to tell the difference and they'll be able to spot it a mile away, okay? That basically leaves us at a place that when your person is able to use this discernment and exercise caution here, or cut through any of the illusion or BS, it'll actually be really fulfilling for them and themselves, because they'll trust themselves more than what they previously had. And I think that if your person is able to look back at the time where they were in this King of Swords energy, that will probably be a good key to them as to where they want to get back to. But I do feel like your person is quite intelligent. They just need to exercise a little bit more caution than they have been. And it'll be really helpful for them. If anything else, it's like, I keep getting messages about the true north today. So it's like, your person needs to exercise their true north of what it is like for them to be themselves, to return home to themselves. Something like that. At the end of the day, this crow is not really going to hurt your person. If anything, it's just like a friend that doesn't have the best intentions for them, okay? Or it's not even that they don't have the best intentions for the friend. It's just that they place their own needs over their friends, or their own wants over their friend. And I mean, it would be nice to have friends around us that we didn't have to worry about like being manipulated by, whether it's actually anything serious or not, or big or small or not, right? No matter how innocent it may be, is not the point. It's the fact that it's happening, okay? All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, that's everything for the tarot. So we will grab some tea leaf cards, and hopefully we can extend on some of these messages. This is such a big deck that I struggle to shuffle it, so we'll just see how we go. I mean, we only want one anyway, right? So it shouldn't be too... I almost feel like I need to shuffle this deck like in the halves. Okay, we got two pop out, cool. So we have bag, something important such as a new job or raise. And we have barrel. You feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. I wonder if your person is really focused on like their work or something, and maybe that's like the distraction for where that's what they're currently distracted with. Let's see if we can extend on this. I'm just hearing that they're strategizing ways to get ahead, and they're coming up against brick walls. Or like they don't realize what the brick wall is. So this could be a person at their work. And I'm just hearing exercising caution would be strongly advised. So this is a really bizarre message. I was not expecting this at all. And then I feel like all of this is really driven from a place of lack mindset. And it's primarily love is where it starts, right? Because they're trying to hold on to this relationship, or they get caught in the nostalgia and sentiment of the old friendship. But ultimately how it manifests is like in the money sector, where they are really focused on the money, thinking that that will help them in some other way, right? Ultimately, if they can trust within themselves or work on themselves to find who they really are outside of what other people try to influence, and they practice their own boundary setting and maintaining it, it will be so much more fulfilling for your person. Okay. We have just had a bit of noise start up. I'm just hoping that it will settle down enough that we can get through this message. Okay, so we have the message of Earth, and to me this just talks about trying to maintain a sense of being grounded, or that this is ultimately what would be good for your person, is to be grounded where they can. Maybe spending time outdoors in a nature setting. And I'm hearing slow and steady wins the race. I'm just hearing be like Earth and don't go too fast. Slow and steady wins the race. And anything that you need will be given to you. Like, you don't have to work for it so hard. And there's an element here of taking time to develop things, because not everything happens overnight. And they're saying that there's something mystical about the process as it unfolds, about the process unfolding, that you don't understand yet, or your person doesn't understand yet. There's some... this is so bizarre that it's like coming through in a message, a reading for you, in as much detail as it is for a person in your life. I sort of wonder if this is something you've been trying to help them with, or it's been an issue that you have witnessed play out in their life in some way, because I'm not sure how you are supposed to help your person with this. they're just saying maybe you see the change that they don't. And that's all it has to be. Okay. And they're saying, and that's enough. So we'll take another card. Let's see what we get. There we go. And we have faith. So it's like your person doesn't have enough faith in themselves, and as soon as they can have more faith in themselves, they'll probably be a lot better off for it, or a lot happier. They'll feel more secure within themselves. It's like there's that insecurity that if they just trusted or exercised the practice, they probably don't realize how much it would boost their sense of security because they're actually working towards something for themselves. And they'd feel a lot safer within their environment knowing that they don't let anything get the better of them, or they don't give in to anything, or they're not easily manipulated, or they're on their path doing what means the most to them and what matters to them. And there's that message too of like having faith that things will unfold as they are meant to, and that we can't always exercise control. Sometimes, yeah. Things will play out as they're meant to. I don't know if your person could potentially be religious, and maybe this influence in fact isn't even necessarily another friendship, but like maybe some sort of religious influence within their lives. And I'm not saying directly a religion, and I'm not blaming religion. We all have to exercise. We all have the responsibility to exercise discernment in our own lives. Maybe it's a particular person within a community in their lives or something like that. I'm not sure. It'll be different for everyone. I think that's a very specific message for a few people. I don't think that's actually for the general group here. I think your person ultimately just needs to trust more in themselves or the process, and then if they're able to do that, everything will unfold as it's meant to, and they just need to see it come to fruition. I feel like your person will be a little bit upset when they realize, or when the penny drops about this other person trying to influence them, because they really didn't think that they were like that or had that capacity or would do that to them, because they've been in each other's lives for so long, and they really, I guess they just didn't have that type of relationship, or that's not what the relationship was founded on. And so I do wonder though if your person actually, I think your person loves them so much they would still find it really hard to move away from them, but they would also be deeply hurt, and it would make them feel insecure within themselves, the fact that this had happened. But it's again coming back to that energy or that place of just accepting where we're at, spending time getting to know ourselves, and having faith that things will actually work out. I'm just getting like anything that this person does will not harm your person. So it's like maybe they're a little bit scared of going without this person. Maybe they've been such a solid, stable person in their lives. They're sort of scared to see what their life would be like without them, because they've actually had to rely on them quite a bit. Maybe this person has actually been quite a steady, stable person for your person in their lives. Like they would have helped them with a lot of things, like maybe moving houses or something like that. Maybe they've had to rely on each other quite a lot because they don't have a lot of family support around. Okay, so moving on, we'll take a card from the Barbieri Oracle. There we go. We don't want that many. We're going to take the one that's flipped upright. So we have "You are sacred." So I feel like if your person could just see how good they are, they wouldn't even worry about any of this stuff to begin with. Okay, one last thing we're going to do is take a paper message, and we'll wrap this up. This is a bizarre message because we've got I love you, I'm scared, that's all. So I wonder if it's sort of that thing of what I was saying about this person trying to influence your person. They sort of, sometimes the influence will go as far as they're worried that their friend will move on without them, and they're just trying to keep them hanging around a bit more than what they otherwise would, something like that. So I mean, love can come in all sort of shapes and sizes, and you know, different friendships and relationships and family dynamics and everything. So yeah, but otherwise, group 3, this one is a bit of a confusing one for me. I hope that it makes sense to you and resonates, and I'll see you all in another video. Thank you.